Hello and welcome to the Happy Healthy Human podcast. I'm Coach Kara.
And I'm Coach Lauren. On this podcast, we talk about the 5 factors of health: movement, nutrition, connection, mindset, rest, and recovery. We're a little giggly today. I can't help it.
It was because as soon as I clicked record, Dr. Josh in the background goes, lifting his weights.
There's definitely some growling and aggressiveness going on in this gym. I think it's all the coaches are here right now and Dr. Josh. So there you go. We got a full crew here today. So hello.
Hi.
What are we talking about today, by the way?
Today we're going to talk about, so kind of like a part 2 from last week where you talk about body image. We're actually going to talk about what it's like to set goals and kind of like go about losing body fat, and then a little bit about our own experience with more so goal setting of wanting to put on muscle mass and stay lean while also being like competitive athletes.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And we both have our own journeys, stories with how that, and then anyways that it can be like simple tools to be able to help people on their maybe weight loss journey or gaining muscle, losing fat. So, but first, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Anything, what'd you have for lunch? Or
What
did you have
I
lunch?
have for lunch? Yeah. So I'm gonna throw out there because I have not told the podcast yet that I am pregnant.
Yes, she is.
With a little baby boy.
So wild. But you had you just put something up like on Instagram,
On
right?
Instagram. Yeah. I did my official Instagram announcement.
Just so cool.
So lately, over the weekend, I needed a Crunchwrap Supreme. Like it wasn't like
Taco Bell?
Yeah.
I had it last night.
Oh, no way.
Wait, what'd you get? I thought
That was like my very first pregnancy craving where I was like, I need a Crunchwrap Supreme right now. But I'm lucky enough to have a husband that is very good at cooking. So he made homemade Crunchwrap Supremes at home.
You didn't legit go to Taco Bell?
No, so we didn't go to Taco Bell.
Oh, I actually went to Taco Bell.
Lauren treated herself last night.
I did.
So we made them at home. And so like every day this week, I've been having that for lunch. So I had a little Crunchwrap Supreme at home and it was delicious.
Wait, how do you make it?
And just get a giant tortilla. We cooked some like leaner ground beef with taco meat.
Okay.
What'd we get? We got the tostada.
Tostada?
Is that?
She's not even listening.
He's not listening
to this
anyway.
podcast.
He speaks Spanish though.
Tostada.
And then we put sour cream, lettuce, diced tomatoes, and cook it in a little pan. Put it in the air fryer, and it gets really crispy.
Okay, that's the cool thing is you can always make. I know some people are sad about it, but a healthier version of our favorite fast foods. Like you can make a Big Mac salad that tastes almost like a Big Mac, but you can make it really healthy.
That sounds good.
Yeah, there's things like that.
Well, totally. I mean, with the Crunchwrap, I was actually thinking like instead of doing sour cream, you could do like plain Greek yogurt and you get more protein. So there's always a way.
There is a way to always. But I actually last night I've been doing really well. Like I've been sticking to health goals and I had some extra calories for the day and was with a friend and we went to Taco Bell.
That's the best day.
And it was awesome. And this is the sad thing though. Taco Bell for $14, we got half a chicken quesadilla, those like cinnamon twists, and a Nacho Bel Grande that was very skimpy on everything. And I was like, this is like a $6 value that I'm paying $14
Half
for.
a quesadilla.
Half a quesadilla. It was like, there's hardly any chicken in it. I was like, Taco Bell, what's going on?
Inflation is crazy. That's actually insane.
No, for real. I was like kind of sad. It was still really good though.
Yeah.
So I feel great. I woke up this morning. I was like, I'm eating my Greek yogurt and fruit. And I was like, that Taco Bell sat perfectly in my stomach. So there you go.
Oh my God, I love it. How is your week going? Well, it's been 2 weeks since we've last sat down and talked.
Yeah, it's been good. So I am right now in my tapering I have a race in 3 weeks. And so I'm on the taper. So I just finished my long run on Saturday. I did 22 miles. And then now I'm starting to relax and like not have as many miles throughout the next couple of weeks. So I feel so rested, which is really nice. I'm like, I'm excited.
Wait, so can you just quickly tell us about your next race? I always forget. Is it a trail race or is it?
There's one in May that's a trail race. That's going to be a 50K. And then I have one that's just a marathon. It's in Ventura. And it's going to be from like the mountains to the beach, but it'll be more pavement.
Oh, so cool. Okay, so where have you been training for that?
I've been training like Newport. I did Claremont Loop, which is a trail race, just to get some elevation to try.
Yeah. That's like a 5-mile loop, right?
Yeah, it's
that
awesome.
Really
so you'll just keep looping it. And then honestly, like Rose Bowl or anywhere I can, just to get, like, sometimes I'll even go outside of our gym and just go in the area. So it just depends on like my schedule and if it's raining or not, where I can go, or I'll go to Arcadia Track, do track workouts. So
So
bit
cool.
of everywhere.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, I think that that's a good thing to kind of lead into the topic for today, which is nutrition, because the way that you train, right, is very aerobic. And I know that this year you started working with a nutrition coach. And we actually work with the same nutrition coach.
Yes.
Which is cool. So when we've talked a little bit about this, but I know that your goal working with her was never necessarily like, hey, I want to lose weight, right? So we have a little bit of different goals than what our main like topic is today, which is how to lose weight. But I'd be curious of how you went about setting your goals and then how your food has shifted with what that looks like.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm excited to hear about how you've gone about it too. I think for me, I've always been able to like work out a lot, but then maybe never get to like my fitness body goals. And I was like, I wonder, we talk about nutrition being the basis of everything to do with our fitness. Most people think I can just like work out and lose like a ton of weight or get to my fitness goals. So I think I was interested, here at Reason Fitness, we offer both nutrition coaching and we offer fitness coaching. And I just thought if I want to like really know how to help people in nutrition and in their athletic goals or their body goals, I want to experience nutrition coaching for myself. And I've never had like the best relationship with food. It's definitely been getting better throughout the years. But I've been always more of like an intuitive eater, which is great because then you get in touch with your body. And I think there's seasons where you really need to be an intuitive eater, but I didn't really know what I was consuming, how much I was consuming, and then how that affects me. I was kind of coming out of a season 2 of like almost like keto eating, I call it, where
while you were running at that high of a volume.
Yes, while I was running at that, because my sister does it and it works well for her. She doesn't run. She doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So I think it really depends on your body type. So I was like doing high fat, high protein, and low carb because I had the assumption carbs are bad for you. And that's all I know. Carbs are bad. And that's all I hear. And so I didn't realize I had to actually flip it when I started working with a nutrition coach where she was like, we're going to lower your fats like altogether. We're going to up your carbs. And then we're going to keep your protein at like your body weight in grams every day. And I started to see almost like instantly within a couple weeks, like huge changes. It freaked me out because in my brain, I'm like, carbs, like this isn't good for me.
Yeah.
But then I started like having energy all the time. Like,
wow, it's like carbs give energy.
Because you hear carbs are so bad, they're gonna make you fat. Like, I had a friend the other day was like, if I have carbs, I'm like, yeah, but it depends like how you're pairing, what type of carbs you're eating. So I feel like I've been on this journey with a nutrition coach. I could talk about it for a while, but just like understanding like what is on my plate. And for me, I was like swinging every day where before I was tracking, like I now track in my Fitness Pal every day. I'm tracking every single thing that goes in my mouth, which for some people feels tedious, but I'm like, if you want to see change, if you want to really see, you have to do the data. Like you have to almost make it secondhand where now I don't even think about it. I'm just like, tracked it or pre-logged my food and went about the day. Because you just make it second. It's a habit you're creating, right?
Yeah.
But I realized before this, I was eating like maybe 4,000 calories one day and then 1,000 calories the next. So I would swing back and forth where now I'm consistently just like eating the same every day, not the same foods, but like the same macros. And I'm realizing I have way more energy consistently. And I'm seeing better results like in my workouts and my recoveries and all of that. So, I mean, I could keep talking, but that was a little bit of what I've been learning. And it's been so fun and fascinating to see like, nutrition really is huge, probably the pillar for like how we go about our workouts and all that.
Yeah. So, yeah, totally.
Yeah. What about you with nutrition coaching?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that I started working with a nutrition coach in 2021 or 20. Yeah, I think 2021. So I've been doing it for like 4 years now, working with someone at some capacity. And so I think that was a time that was pretty eye-opening for me because I was trying to do the more like intuitive eating route. And I think you're right. It's like some days you just don't feel as hungry. And so you don't eat as much, even if you do have a good relationship with food. And then the next day you might feel really, really, really hungry because you didn't eat very much the day before. And you're trying to catch up on it. So I think that intuitive eating for myself, I haven't really had much success with it. Honestly, until now in my pregnancy where I'm not tracking on my Fitness Pal anymore. But that's from tracking for 4 years where I learned like what ounce of meat makes me feel really good and sustain until my next meal, or how many grams of rice or potatoes I can eat that make me feel good and not overly full. So now I can just like look at a plate and be like, oh, I can guess that's like, 200 grams of potatoes and this many carbs. But when I first started, I think that same thing is that I was really under eating protein and carbohydrates, and I was really high in fat. And once you make the change of one, being a more competitive CrossFit athlete where I'm doing these like higher endurance / aerobic workouts, I realized like, oh shoot, like carbs is what actually makes me feel really, really good when I exercise. Yes. And so I think at one point when I was competing, I was eating like, I don't know, 435 grams of carbs a day, which is like a lot for a woman,
Totally,
just in general. But I felt so good, and I was still feeling like really lean and good in my body. And so that made me realize that like, oh, eating in a surplus of sorts actually helped me to feel really good. And I didn't see like fat come on my body. I actually saw myself like sustain the lean muscle mass. So I think for me, it's really eye-opening to see how that works. But I think that I personally haven't been on a journey where my goal was like, oh, I want to lose weight and intentionally track for that reason. I think that's something I'll go into once I'm in postpartum. So it's going to be really interesting. But I have helped a lot of men and women be able to lose weight by being intentional about their food. And I think that you brought up a really, really good point of the seeing your calories across the week be consistent, and that's where you saw more gains.
I saw more change. Yeah, I saw my fat drop and my muscle increase.
Yeah,
for sure, and my energy increase. And there's so many other things that go into like losing fat, gaining muscle, but just the consistency helped my body over time.
Yeah, for sure. And I think to like jump into the topic of fat loss, like for someone that has a goal like that, being really aware of your calorie intake is going to be like key,
and what that calorie intake is.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people don't want to hear that because that's the harder way to lose weight.
The fact is, any goal is going to be hard, or everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
It's going to take hard work.
Yeah. And for someone where say you have a goal of losing 10, 20, 30 pounds, if you are not aware of how much food you're consuming during the day, you can't guarantee that you're in a calorie deficit and guarantee that you're going to see fat loss. Mm-hmm. So I think that there was I feel like there was like a movement of tracking your food because it can get really unhealthy for some people.
Yes.
But I think that created this like overconsumption culture where it's like, well, if I feel fine, I don't need to worry about how much food I'm eating. But I think the reality is like, if you have an intentional goal where you're like, hey, I want to lose weight, you have to track in some capacity.
Yes.
Because without that awareness, you don't know that you're in a deficit. You could be in like 1,000 calorie surplus every day and not even realize it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. That was just a thought I had while you were talking.
No, I think that's really good because I have a friend who's trying to lose weight and she's like, yeah, I'm tracking every day. I'm not losing weight. And she's like, I was like, well, how often like do you go out like drinking or go out to eat? And she's like, oh, like only 2 to 3 times a week. And I was like, well, how much did you like drink one night? She's like, oh, just 5 drinks. She's working out every day. She's like, why am I not losing weight? And I'm like, well, those things add up so quickly. Mm-hmm. Like, you're having 5 drinks a night. That's like several thousand calories on top of maybe your food for the day, So there's just things like I think people, unless they're tracking diligently, cannot be really aware. Like I think we want to in our mind be like, I'm not taking in that many calories, or you have to really look at the data. And you can keep it simple, but it's just there is so many things of knowing like what's going in your body that is then how you make those like consistent little changes.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like, what are some consistent little changes that you would recommend to people when it comes to weight loss? It sounds like you were talking about calorie deficit, but is there anything else?
Yeah. I mean, I like typically for any clients I have that are wanting to lose body fat, but not wanting to track like on MyFitnessPal, for example, they don't want to measure out like their food on a scale. Yes. For example, I really like the like hand tracking method, which is from Precision Nutrition. Mm-hmm. Basically it's saying like, hey, your portion sizes is with your hand because your hands go everywhere with you. So no matter where you are, you can look at your hand and say, okay, if I'm eating a palm size of protein, right? We base our protein off our palm, a cupped handful of carbohydrates, right? So you base your carbs off a cupped handful, and then a thumb fats. Fist is veggies. Okay. So you got to remember all the hand shapes. But if you know your quantity of food for the day and how many palms of proteins, cupped handful of carbs, fists of veggies, and thumbs of fat that you're looking for, that can be a really simple way to measure without actually having to pull out a scale. So I'll typically have people start with either looking at their protein or carbohydrate intake and just be like, okay, for the next week, can we try to hit the goal of 4 palm sizes of protein a day, right? That would get you to 100 grams of protein. Most people, we can assume coming in, don't eat 100 grams of protein a day. No. So it's like, even though that's not going to be a specific number, and I'm just throwing this out for the sake of like the podcast, if you could make a goal of eating 4 palm sizes or 100 grams of protein a day, that could be a really simple way to just kickstart into your fat loss journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we think about our proteins, really simple search, you can just Google, hey, ChatGPT, give me a list of lean proteins. It'll probably tell you, okay, 96.4 ground beef, chicken breast, chicken thigh. There might be a couple of like steaks that pop up, different cuts of red meat. And if you can base your 4 palm sizes off of that, try that for a month and see if anything changes.
Exactly.
During your day. That can be a really easy way to kickstart.
Yeah. I know there's so many simple ways I feel like I'm learning about like how to like lose fat, and even it's just like meal planning. So on Sunday I'll sit down and I kind of think through my week, and that's usually when I'm doing my errands. But I'm like, okay, do I have a protein for the week? Do I have a couple of veggies that I can add to that protein? And then I'll think of, okay, what are my carbs? Like brown rice, or is it going to be white rice, or like sweet potatoes? I love potatoes. So potatoes are usually my carb for the week with and then I think through my breakfast, I have like Greek yogurts, fruits ready at hand, and then I have some snacks. So then every day I'm like, okay, I kind of know my veggie, my protein, my carb, throw it in the air fryer, or air fryer obsessed. And then I'll put it in a to-go, thing if I'm at the gym. So today, I brought my food ready to pop in the microwave. And I know a lot of us do that. Like we kind of have everything ready. I'll bring food with me. And then for instance, I'm going out with a friend tonight, or going to her house. I kind of know what she already is going to be cooking. So I'm already pre-planning for that. And so just thinking ahead a little bit can help you then make better decisions for your body, where if you don't have any plan, you end up just kind of eating a little snack here, a little snack there. You go to Taco Bell, which that was more planned. I had those macros in the day. But, and so I just think those like little changes can like really, they can kickstart like that health journey.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think you like hit the nail on the head. It's like pre-planning your week can make a huge difference. Cause, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, is like 80% compliancy can help you to see results. So if you give yourself 3 to 4 meals where you're going to go eat Taco Bell one night with a friend, or you're going to go to someone's house and you don't know what they're going to cook that night, that means that all of your other meals for the week should already be pre-planned. You already know what snacks you're having for the week. You already know what meals you're taking to work, what breakfast you're cooking up in the morning, and making sure that you're aware of that so that no surprises come up. It will keep you on track. It's when all of a sudden we're like willy-nilly with our food, just be like, I'm going to go to work today and I don't know what I'm going to eat for lunch.
Yes.
That's when you're asking to all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm starving. I'm just going to go through the McDonald's drive-thru and grab like a burger.
Yeah. But
that's not what's going to help you, right? Because maybe you already have 4 more other meals that you're eating out that week. And so you are now at less than 80% compliancy to your nutrition. So pre-planning makes a huge difference. And when I think also about like the parents that I've coached in the past, pre-planning helps so much, because when you have little kids that are asking you for like everything under the sun during dinner time, maybe you already had all of your dinners pre-planned for the week, so you didn't have to even think about it.
That's so nice.
You already knew what you were going to have. Your lunches are already pre-cooked for the week. Maybe you meal prep on Sunday or something. It's just like making sure that you know what's going to happen so that you don't get caught off guard.
Yeah. Especially I would say like during the weekends, I don't know, for me, that's when my food kind of goes out the door. Like I'll be pretty scheduled, because Monday through Friday is really scheduled. And then Saturday, Sunday, I don't have as much of a schedule. I try to not plan as much. I noticed that's when I kind of lose, my consistency. So anyway, you can even like, I don't know if you found ways to be able to plan for your weekends or or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that weekends are challenging, but I think that if you know that you have set plans, let's say on like Saturday night, you have a dinner reservation, but then your husband says he wants to get breakfast that morning. My thing with that is like, okay, great. We're already going out to eat tonight. So what can I order at breakfast? Even if I am at a restaurant, what can I order to make sure that I'm on track and keeping my foods lower fat, higher protein? Typically when we go out, we're going to be eating high fat, low protein foods. Right?
Anywhere, even if you think it's healthy. I literally was at Chipotle, a week ago getting like a chicken bowl. And you feel like chicken bowl is healthy. You got rice, beans, whatever. I see them make the rice. They pour the vegetable oil, like a big thing of vegetable oil all over the white rice. So you're like, oh my gosh, I'm consuming several hundred at least more calories than I think I am.
Yeah.
If it was just steamed rice.
Yeah.
And so we don't know really what's being added even into some of our healthier meals.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I just try to think through like what would be the best option to eat right now that's going to be higher protein, lower fat, right? Like if I go to a breakfast place, usually I'll get like either poached eggs because they cook them in boiled water, right? Like that they're not going to add like oil or anything to that, or do like an egg white omelet. Maybe opt out of the pancakes because that night you're going to get like Mexican food with the family. So
I love pancakes.
Yeah, it's just making different decisions so that you're setting yourself up to continue to stay in the deficit while still giving yourself freedom here and there to eat out with family and friends, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we're in a culture that is very much like we love to go out to eat. Like Californians in the area, like everyone goes out to eat. Everyone in our gym is like always like, I went out here, Korean barbecue, wherever. And so figuring out like if you really do want to get to certain health goals, you sometimes will have to you do have to cut out more of those like bigger meals or going out all the time. And so I think that's something that there is a cost to getting to your goals, and what cost are you willing to take? Because I think people want the easy route, and they're just like, oh, like I don't eat for a week and then I lose all this weight and I'm good to go. But that's where you see, I call it the yo-yo dieting, where you're swinging effect. Like some people lose a lot of weight and then whatever, but the goal is consistency over time. That's when you'll start to really see the changes, which is usually the harder work of little by little making those changes, maybe drinking less alcohol in the week or getting more sleep, or I'm adding right now personally, I'm trying to add a fruit or a vegetable at every meal. That's just like of the goal of the week, because I'm like, I don't like vegetables. So this week, I'm just adding a vegetable for every one. I'm not trying to do anything super crazy.
Yeah. It can be challenging, but I think that setting those like small goals week to week can be really helpful. Yeah. And also like, I think the ultimate thing is like find the right people to be able to ask the right questions. Like honestly, you can ask something like ChatGPT to write a meal plan for you for the week if you're feeling low on motivation. If you need some idea of how to choose either like a leaner protein or how many calories should I be eating to stay in a deficit, you can reach out to a coach. You can reach out online. There's even calculators that you can do that can help you. But I think just making sure that you're aware of how much you're eating is going to be number one.
Yeah. Can we touch a little bit? We touched a lot on nutrition and food, but other areas that you think are important for people losing weight or gaining muscle?
Yeah. I think when we think about our 5 factors of health, right? Water, connection, sleep.
What are the rest of the movement? Recovery, rest.
Those are all going to
mindset.
Yes. Well, mindset plays a huge role into it. Definitely. But I think that when we think about rest, especially, and hydration, those two are going to play like, those actually are like statistics that you can look at, right? Like how much water did I drink today, right? Staying on top of your hydration can help you to feel a little more full during the day. It helps us aid in better digestion. There's different ways that these things help us to be able to lose body fat. And when we think about sleep,
it's huge.
It's a really important time for our body to recover and process everything we did that day. So I think just making sure that you're staying on top of your like 7 to 9 hours of sleep can make a huge difference.
Yeah, I think any way to lower anxiety as well. Like it might be reducing your caffeine intake, like it might be, getting more sleep, or your mindset of how you think about yourself. I think the more I've like grown in positivity about myself, the more I've been able to relax when it comes to eating meals. I also find when I eat with other people, I feel more relaxed than eating alone. And so that allows me to enjoy the meal, enjoy the food. It feels more satiating. So I think there's like ways that you can go about, even when it comes to like outside of your nutrition, to be able to like relax your body that will actually help you not to hold on to that extra weight, something I was thinking too of there's other ways like outside of just like reducing your calorie intake or like losing weight that allow you to feel good in your body, you know? So I was thinking of like the way that my clothes feel. It's not just like on the scale, but the way my clothes feel, the energy I have for my workouts. Like there's so many ways that nutrition and losing weight can like help impact who we are as athletes. But I don't know if you have anything to add with that.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to feel the difference. And I think as long as you're staying on top of your goals and what matters most to you, then you'll be able to achieve that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that if there are any questions or comments or any want for a part 2, then we can continue this conversation on our next show. But I think that's it.
I think we'll wrap it there.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning into the Happy Healthy Human podcast. Stay happy, stay healthy.
Bye. Drew, you distracted. Ugh.